Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Hello and welcome to the Bort Experience. We are on Season 2, Episode 9, 22 overall of The Simpsons, Itchy and Scratchy and Marge. The episode was written by John Swartzwelder and it was directed by Jim Rodon. Originally aired December 20th, 1990. And just right off the bat, before I give the episode summary, I just want to say thank you so much. The channel just hit 1 year anniversary, doing more steady content, but doing the podcast. 2026, have big plans. Hopefully going to start doing a gaming podcast. And then also just more movie and TV kind of lore type videos that I've been kind of like posting. So please go check those out. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. So first we have the chalkboard gag. We have I will pledge allegiance to Bart. We have the driveway, let's see. We have the couch gag when they run in. The couch is missing. The episode summary: Maggie attacks Homer with a mallet, and Marge immediately blames the Itchy and Scratchy show for turning her violent. Marge forms SNUH, Springfieldians for Nonviolence, Understanding, and Helping, or SNUF, and campaigns against the show and protesting. Eventually, she successfully gets the writers to change their ways and make the show less violent. Meanwhile, Michelangelo's David goes on a coast-to-coast tour of the United States, and members of SNUF mobilize to protest it. Marge, however, says she likes the statue and, realizing it is wrong to censor one art form but not another, gives up on her protest. So overall, my thoughts of the episode. I thought this was a great episode. It almost, to me, is even better than the last episode with the gorge. It's in that same vein where it's like, oh man, this is a very golden age type episode. I feel like it's fantastic. One, I like the meta commentary on censorship, which I know that word gets thrown around a lot these days. I feel like the writers of the show, I know, are probably more left leaning, but I like how they have different points of view in both regards, where it's like, hey, I think most people support like, hey, being able to do the First Amendment and freedom of speech and expression. I feel like there's some limits to that, but I like how this show kind of tackles it like, hey, this might be a violent TV show, but then I feel like the writers are meta commentarying on, hey, this show was never really meant for children, and for you to complain about it, all you have to do is turn off the TV. And I like when Marge does finally get the show kind of to change, to be less violent. Kids go outside and actually are more productive and respectful. It's an interesting thing where I think all of us, or a lot of us, are addicted to our phones, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, I'm on YouTube right now. I love it, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I get a lot of, things that I enjoy. But I do feel like sometimes we do lose this sense of going out into the world and being more attuned with nature and kind of getting off the screens. And a lot of times when I go on vacation or we do an activity like my family will go to the park, I leave my phone in the car, or I don't pull it out. My wife might have her phone just for like an emergency kind of situation if we need to like call 911 or something. But I really try to be more present, and I feel like a lot of us can do that a lot more. But I like how the writers, I should say, of the episode really kind of spoke to that. And then also, I believe one of the writers is based on one of the writers of the show, Conan. I think that's his name. I can't remember his first, but he makes fun of like Marge with a Marge kind of character. I feel like South Park does this a lot when like they get kind of criticism from a group, they go after them hard. Simpsons never go after people that hard, but I feel like during this time there was I think it was like the first Bush administration, George Bush's dad, George H.W. Bush, I believe, went after the Simpsons hard. It's in the book, Stupid TV, Be More Funny, which inspired this podcast. So thank you so much for Alan Siegel for writing that book. But I feel like the episode just did such a good job of, portraying what people feel about shows and how people protest. And then when actual art from like, the David, the famous statue, trying to get that banned, and it makes me think about like schools in certain areas of our country where it's like, hey, we got to ban this book because it talks about certain issues that we don't agree with. And I feel like to have a free and open society, you can't ban things, because even if things are bad, and I agree there's a lot of horrible stuff that I think should not be talked about, but you got to let that be out there so people can realize, hey, that is horrible stuff that we don't want to do, and we can't continue to do that, so we're going to move past that. But you can't like destroy or hide it, because if you go after one group, eventually it's going to come after you. So it's kind of like this cycle. And I felt like this episode was like fantastic. It's been one of my favorites so far. I also like how it really focused on Marge. She was great in this, and I think her realization of, hey, I get this banned, then it's going to affect things I do like. I also like how we have a culture now of, hey, fans don't like something, so ban it or change it. This comes to mind a lot with like Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and people hated The Last Jedi. It doesn't really matter what, I mean, it matters, but I don't really care per se what people's opinions are. But when studios, you could tell they made an effort to change it based on what fan reaction are. You know, ultimately the fans are what pay the bills and go enjoy these properties and games and all kinds of things. But if you bow down to fans, sometimes a lot of people are really loud online, does not represent the entire fandom. So I think you have to be very careful on how you change and alter your vision of any kind of property based on feedback from fans. I think feedback is good and you have to listen to it, but I don't think you should just make every decision based off that kind of stuff. So, but those are my overall thoughts on the episode. Really great, and I really enjoyed it. So we have the citizens of Springfield. In this segment, we list the cast, voice cast of the episode. We have Dan Castanella as Homer Simpson and Krusty the Clown. We have Julie Carpenter as Marge. We have Nancy Cartwright as Bart, Yardley Smith as Lisa, and Harry Shearer as Kent Brockman. A shout out to Kent Brockman. He was really great this episode. I think he appeared previously on the Thanksgiving episode. I felt like, I was like, oh, this is the Kent Brockman I know. Just kind of saying, you know, he's like that stereotypical like newsman, but it's just really funny. And Harry does a really great delivery for the character. We have Alex Rocco as Roger Myers, who's like the Itchy and Scratchy CEO and chairman, I believe. We have Pamela Hayden as Helen Lovejoy, and we have Maggie Roswell as Maude Flanders. I've kind of already alluded to this before, but Marge Simpson is the MVP of the episode. I think this is the first episode where it's like, 70% just focusing on Marge and her dynamic. And I think when we get more of these centric episodes towards the main core of the family, it's fantastic because it kind of builds that character development and cohesion and what these characters stand for and what they believe and how their actions can be changed. And I really think this is a stellar episode for Marge. And I really enjoyed just her thought process. And it's kind of one of those annoying things where you're like, oh, she seems kind of like a Karen, to put it in a more modern context in 2025. But I think what I think is different is she realizes what she's done is not probably the right thing. Even if she doesn't like it and doesn't agree with it, she still wants art to be out there. And I feel like that kind of understanding is different than a lot of people. They go after a cause, not realizing the ripple effects it might have on society. And then let's see, we have the best joke of the episode segment. So I thought this was really funny. It was kind of towards the end, and it kind of goes into everything I've been talking about. So let's do the setup. Marge answers the door early in the morning. It's Maude and Helen, recruiting Marge to protest with them against the David statue. Helen: you've got to lead our protest against this abomination, shows newspaper article. Marge: but that's Michelangelo's David. It's a masterpiece. Helen: gasp, it's filth. It graphically betrays parts of the human body, which, practical as they may be, are evil. Marge: but I like the statue. Helen gasps again. I told you she was soft on full frontal nudity. Come on, girls. And then they go to protest the statue. And what is so funny about this joke, not only about Helen's kind of statement of like, even though it's accurate, how, because if you've seen the statue, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. I think it's so funny in that regard, but then it's also it's like that part of Marge that kind of clicks. That's like, oh, I see what I've done. I see how I've, pretty much canceled or changed something based on a protest, which I think protesting you should be allowed to do. But I just find it I felt like it was a perfect encapsulation of the episode right there in that moment. So that's why I thought it was not only a great joke, but also just, like I said, encapsulates like everything that I felt and how I think the audience should be thinking about this episode and the message the writers were trying to send. So we are to my favorite segment of the podcast, the trivia. So let's see. We have a fun one today. Let's see. What does the Australian government want to give Bart? Again, what does the Australian government want to give Bart? A fantastic episode. But to get the answer, please check out the full podcast on Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Since you're here, let's go ahead and read the answer. A booting. A kick with the boot. Fantastic episode. I'm not sure what season it appears, but it's a great episode. There's some great moments in that. So go check it out. But let me know what your thoughts of this episode, if you've seen it or maybe you haven't, or if you're watching along with me, let me know what you think, because I think that would be really fun. I have some great comments throughout the episode, so I want to continue that conversation, so please let me know. Also, like I said, thank you so much. 1 year of the channel. Go check it out. Some of my other videos, and hopefully in 2026 next month we'll be rolling out a video game centric podcast, so more information to come on that. But until next time, peace out.